Hi, and welcome to my craft room. I'm Christy Strum, and I've been an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for more than 8 years, and I live in Shoreview, Minnesota. I am so happy to be part of the July 2021 Demos Galore and share with you the Words of Cheer bundle found on page 20 of the July to December 2021 mini catalog. The Words of Cheer bundle first includes the Words of Cheer stamp set. You can see that this has a few floral and leaf type pieces, and then it also has a lot of sentiments good for the holidays. Later on, I'll also show you a way that you can use some of these sentiments without a holiday theme. But we have season's greetings, wishing you a joyful Christmas. My favorite sentiment, and it was really the thing that sold me on this bundle, was that it has a happy Christmas from my home to yours. I happen to be single, and it's kind of nice that I have something that I can use that doesn't say from our home to yours, even though that's a lovely sentiment. It doesn't apply to me. So that was one reason why I needed to get this bundle for myself right away when I could pre-order it. The dies that coordinate with that are the Christmas cheer dies. I'm going to show you them laid out on a magnet card so you can get an idea of how many dies there are. There are quite a few. Some nice big cool word dies that layer, and I'm going to show you some examples of these. These all cut out in a bunch of different colors and paper types. You can see what the happy looks like, both versions, which you can use these stacked together or singly. The cheers the same way, and you can see I did that with the green foil that's in the mini catalog. There's this border die. There are a couple of different star sizes. I did this with the pearlescent paper, this with a gold foil. And then these leaf pieces and berry sprigs and other sprigs, all of these, the die cuts out all three pieces at once, which is fantastic. And then these are the two that coordinate with stamps in the stamp set, this big floral piece and then this leafy piece. In a few minutes, I'm going to share with you a whole bunch of projects that I've made with a holiday theme. But for my demonstration, I wanted to show you a way that you can use sentiments from the stamp set without a holiday theme. So you can see that some words are separated: holidays, Christmas, happy, and day. So for one example, I stamped the happy and the day together and then punched them out with the smaller oval from the double oval punch for a card that can be used for any occasion. I happen to really like 3x3 gift enclosure cards to have on hand to slip in a package. So maybe I didn't have time to make a full-blown card, but I've got some of these on hand, and I used the beautifully penned paper from the Celebration brochure. So there's one example. I used 3 of the designs from that paper for these cards. And then I did exactly the same thing, except I used part of one of the other sentiments. I'm going to show you how I did that. So I just used the from my home to yours part, where normally Happy Christmas is at the top. So we're going to walk through how I did that and put that card together. First, I've got a piece of cardstock, basic black cardstock, that's 3x6, scored at 3 inches. I'm just going to fold that and crease it with my bone folder. Then I'm going to put a little piece of white cardstock in the inside, since it's a little bit challenging to write on black paper. Not impossible. White gel pen, that would work. But it's a little easier to have it with white, so you can use anything you happen to have in your pocket or purse or wherever. And then just attach this on the front of the card. I did cut this so that it's just a 1/8 inch all the way around. I like that a little bit better for the small card like that. All right, so that's ready to go. Then we need to stamp the sentiment. So I have that mounted on an acrylic block right here, and then because we're doing just sort of a black and white thing, I'm using the Memento in Tuxedo Black. I'm going to stamp that. Sure it looks okay. And then I'm going to take my chamois and do a pass. I'm going to do two things to make sure that this doesn't show up. I had a little trouble just doing it one way or the other, so I'm going to do it both ways. Realize that that's not in the camera. Okay. Then I also am going to take a couple of super sticky Post-it notes and cover this up. Look at that awesome black ink I've got on my fingers. The only trick with that is to make sure I don't transfer it anywhere else. I can stamp this where there's room to punch it out. Normally I would use a foam mat with my photopolymer stamp, but I just wasn't thinking about it and it's not handy right now. All right, so then you just punch this out with the small oval. Pieces flying everywhere. Add a couple of dimensionals. Add that to the front of the card and it's all done. You could, of course, add anything you want. You could add ribbon, a pop of color with a Stampin' Blends marker, an embellishment like the matte black dots or opal rounds, anything that would be kind of fun and coordinating. And then when you have all these ready to go, you can even put them in our 3 1/8 by 3 1/8 acrylic boxes, so you could always have them on hand. You could even throw this in your glove box to have little gift enclosures ready to go at any time, and the envelopes fit right in there too. And there you go, all ready to go. Now I'm going to share a few projects with you that I made using the Words of Cheer bundle. First, I have my take on the flip panel scenery card, which uses the Whimsy and Wonder Specialty Designer Series paper, Blushing Bride cardstock, and ink. I've got this in Mossy Meadow, the Cheer Elegant die, and then I also use the brushed metallic adhesive back dots that coordinate really nicely with that Blushing Bride color. On the inside, I stamped Happy Christmas from my home to yours. My next card, I used the Sweet Stockings Designer Series paper with the Happy dies layered on top of each other. This is the gold from the Gold and Rose Gold metallic specialty paper. And then I just stamped Holidays in Evening Evergreen down here right on the Designer Series paper. I thought that was a fun and cute card. This kitty actually looks a lot like a kitty of mine who I lost last year. Her name was Blazer. I had to try out the stained glass technique with that really pretty floral design. I did color the background with Balmy Blue Stampin' Blend marker just to sort of have the white flower stand out a little bit better. And then I also used Mossy Meadow and Cherry Cobbler. And so I made the frame from the Stitch So Sweetly dies, and I punched this out with the larger of the double oval punch. I really like the double oval punch. I use it quite a lot. Now, from the Stitch So Sweetly dies, I had an inside piece, so I decided to make this card as well. The Designer Series paper for this is the Tidings of Christmas 6x6 Designer Series paper in the annual catalog. And I just added some coordinating stamps and ink, and I did some decorating with those little bits of dies that you can get. And I added an Evening Evergreen 21 to 2023 in color jewel right in the center of the star. Next, I also needed to just do some regular coloring with this. So this is Shaded Spruce, Cherry Cobbler, and Petal Pink flowers. And I had to add a little bit of that Cherry Cobbler and gold ribbon. Now, there were lots of sentiments in this stamp set, but there weren't any label dies. So I did find, for example, that double oval punch one. Then this one is from the Potted Succulents dies. It worked really well for this season's greetings. Then I added the Shaded Spruce Holiday Rhinestone jewels. In the mini catalog, we have a new set of masks, the Adorning Designs decorative masks. I used one of those with these snowflakes and my blending brushes with Balmy Blue, Misty Moonlight, and Polished Pink to make this design. And then I added just a little bit of the Polished Pink 3/8 inch open weave ribbon, and then the sentiment from the Words of Cheer stamp set. And then this particular die is from the Tasteful Labels dies. And I edged that with a little Balmy Blue with a sponge dauber. This is my last card, but I do have a couple more projects. So the Sending You Christmas Cheer, I used the Heartwarming Hugs Designer Series paper that returned to us from last year's mini catalog. I really, really liked that paper, so I was really happy when I found out it was going to come back and I could use it some more to share projects with you. I used the tailored tag punch for the sentiment on this one. And then I punched out a couple extras in Pear Pizzazz and Mossy Meadow to layer behind. So it kind of really emphasizes that label. And then I used the Wonderful Gems in Real Red to highlight that card. Next I made I decorated a treat box. Stampin' Up! Made the box. I just added some decoration. So for this I used the 2021 to 2023 in color shimmer vellum in evergreen, evening evergreen for these leafy pieces. Little polished pink cardstock for the little berry piece. And then the Bead Dazzling 6x6 paper from the Celebration brochure for this star/flower piece. And then a polished pink 2021 to 2023 in color jewel. And then I used the tailor-made dies to create this little tag. You can see I used some Versamark on there to just give a little hint of those leafy sentiments on there. And I stamped it in Evening Evergreen. And again, I masked off just like I did for the project that I demonstrated so that it just says From My Home to Yours. And I attached that with some of the white Baker's Twine from the Baker's Twine Essentials pack. And then kind of just can tuck under there too. So, but if it gets loose, it just hangs. Finally, I decorated a mini paper pumpkin box. I love decorating mini paper pumpkin boxes and giving them as gifts with note cards inside. I did not make any note cards for this particular box yet, but I wanted to share where I'm at so far. So I used the Painted Christmas Designer Series paper. I layered cherry cobbler onto white cardstock for the happy. And then this sentiment has a happy on it, but I just trimmed that part off to just include the wishes to you and yours. And I stamped that with Stays On jet black ink on vellum. And then I used all these different pieces in Evening Evergreen, cherry cobbler, basic white, and then again a cherry cobbler holiday rhinestone right there. There's a couple of glue dots under there to hold that in place, but it does move around a little bit. So yeah, so I just decorated that with a contrasting pattern, and it's all ready for either putting some treats in or note cards. Thanks for joining me for this video about the Words of Cheer bundle. Again, you can find that on page 20 of the July to December 2021 mini catalog, and it includes the Words of Cheer stamp set and the Christmas Cheer dies, which you will be able to save 10% on if you buy them together as a bundle. I have so many projects still in mind to make with this, especially doing some more coloring techniques with this big floral piece. I haven't used watercolor pencils, the Stampin' Pastels. I have so many things to try. And then all of these dies have so many different color combinations that you can do besides just the ones that I did that were kind of in coordinating with the designer series paper and some other choices that I wanted to make. You can do all kinds of different colors. Thanks again.